Okay, we are officially live on Facebook. Yay! Welcome everyone to Spotlight Sunday. Today is January 20th and it's Sunday and we're here. So we have Spyce today who is coming in to talk about her amazing new program that is starting in like 10 days. And I don't like to do introductions for other people because I tend to screw everything up. So I'm going to let you just jump in and take over while I get everything, I'm going to like pin this in the top of the group, make sure everybody can see it. But if you want to just go ahead and start, dive in, introduce yourself, tell us kind of how you got started and what exactly you do and all of that good information. That would be awesome.
All right. Well, thanks, Brooke, for having me. I'm really excited to be on your Spotlight Sunday. I've seen other people being on it, and and I really admire you so much for all the stuff that you do. You're really awesome. So I'm excited to be here. So my name is Spyce. I am a love empowerment coach. I work specifically with strong women who want to change and heal their patterns in love, so they can basically have the kind of relationship they want, their dream relationship, on exactly their own terms. And for me, I've always been somebody who has been like a strong kind of woman. Well, I wasn't born a woman, I was born a little girl, but I kind of learned early on that if I wanted to get something, I was going to have to ask for it. And I saw a lot of other women, specifically like my mom, not doing the same thing. But when it came to love, like they were really good at doing it in other spots, but when it came to love, it seemed like everybody wanted to put their own needs on the back burner. And that was something that I just did not feel like was a great idea. So, it was something that was just always inspiring to me, to be able to help women that I saw like losing their power, disempowering themselves in these situations. I really wanted to inspire them to be able to get what they want and to ask for what they want and to feel like they're worthy. I saw my mom go in and out of abusive relationships, and I just felt like I never wanted to be that way. And then, of course, patterns follow patterns. And in my early 20s, I wound up in an abusive relationship. And my mom was really there for me at that time. And it was a really healing experience, because before that, I sort of disrespected her. I thought, she just lets, these men come in and tell her what to do. And I don't want to ever be like that. But then I saw how me, myself, even this person who prided myself on being this really strong, kick-ass girl who would go out and say whatever, that I too could get caught in that thing. So having that experience was really actually great and healing and wonderful. And then it was actually the last time my mom and I were together before she died. So it was like a really significant, poignant part of my life. And from then on, I've just always had this feeling of like, I need to help strong women be strong in every aspect of their life, and especially when it comes to love. And I feel like the thing that stops women from being strong in their love relationships and empowered are these patterns that we've had that just follow us, that just keep us feeling stuck in the hurt and the pain and the trauma. And so what I do is really about looking at all of those things that are going on underneath and peeling back the layers and working through all of that, so that way we can come to our relationship life clean and clear and ready to just take on the relationship in a healthy and clear way.
I love it. That's awesome. And that's so, like, I love how you articulated that too. Like, it's perfectly clear. And I love obviously the businesses with the really strong, passionate why behind them. That's kind of like my number one requirement for my clients that I work with, is like, you have to have a really strong why. So I love hearing all the stories like that. That's amazing. I love it. Okay, before we dive in, because I'm really excited to hear more about like how you do this work, and we're going to hear about your program a little bit too. So before we do that, I have to ask my question that I ask everybody, which is, what is your definition of branding? What does it mean for you and your business, and how you look at it?
Well, I think at one point I didn't really understand branding, and I really was like, what does that mean? Like, does that really have any meaning or anything to do with anything? But I've learned through my own experience how much that what you say and what you do and how you put yourself out there is super important. Like, I have a background as a performer, and so you know, there are so many different kinds of ways you put yourself out there and be in the world as a performer. And how you present yourself is going to affect how people take you,
Yeah.
you know? And so, yeah, I just really see how branding is so important to help you to be able to present the person that you really are to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Yeah, like, you know, for a while when I was doing a lot of performance, and I have my spicy Spyce persona,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
which is fun, and, you know, and that's great and all, but it's very different than, I feel like the deep work that I really love to do with people that I've wanted to do for a long time that I'm finally doing now. I don't know how well it jives with the spicy Spyce, you know? And so now I'm working more on, you know, just bringing back the spice.
Yeah.
Spicy. The spicy was just because people were always asking me what kind of spice I was. So I had to come up with something.
Spicy Spyce.
So,
I love it.
But yeah, I do think that it's really important to like have people be able to recognize and know who you are. So that way when they see, you know, a certain color scheme and a certain font and a certain, you know, something that represents you, they're going to know and say, ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Cool. Okay, cool. I love it. So we have a couple people here too. So for those, I know we have a lot of new people in my group lately, which I'm super excited about. So if you're new and you're watching, you have to say hi. Always let me know that you're here and say hi. I see Megan and Tammy both said hi. So thank you guys for being here. And anyone, we're about to dive in. So anyone that has any questions, always put in comments, questions, anything as we go, and I will read them out and make sure you hear them. And then, you know, for anyone watching the replay too, feel free to put in any questions and Spyce can come back and answer them later. I'm super excited to get started. So the title of your whole presentation is super awesome. I love just the name that you came up with. So let's do it. Let's dig in. What are we learning about today?
So, you know, the title of this is Love Road Mapping.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've done a lot of traveling in my life. And so I love the idea of road trips and going on adventures and just kind of putting yourself out there into the world.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you want to, like, okay, let's say you're just like, hey, I'm just going to go wherever.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. You go out, whatever, you find whatever you find, and you deal with whatever consequence comes to you. Mm-hmm. However, if there's a place that you actually want to go to, you need to have a map, and you need to have a concrete way of getting to the place you want to go to. Yeah. So that's what this really is about. It's about figuring out what you want and then figuring out exactly how to get there. So Love Road Mapping is, you know, a process. It's a workshop that I do, and it's, you know, it's a couple different modules within my program that are all just basically about really, really solidifying on what you want and thinking about how to and working on how to get to that place in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it's a group program, right?
Yeah, well, I do work with people on one-on-one, but I also have a group program. So what's starting in 10 days, it's called Love Cleansing Boot Camp. Because my business is Love Cleansing. And so this is our boot camp program where we just really dive deep into all of these different processes that are all about, like I said, clearing and healing the traumas, the triggers, the patterns that we have in love. So that way we can be really clear and we can get the love that we want exactly on our own terms.
Cool. So who would be like your ideal client for this program? Like who is the person that you're really looking to help with this, specifically this 12-week new thing that you're doing? One-on-one is kind of like custom to each person, I would assume, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, I like working, like I said, I like working with strong women. First of all, you have to be ready and willing to say, you know what, something in my life that I'm doing is not working.
Yeah.
And I see something that I want over there, but I'm still over here and I'm not taking the steps to get over there, or something's in my way, or sometimes like I don't even know how to get there. Or you think, oh, I'll get there eventually. You know, there's all kinds of reasons why we don't go towards the thing that we want.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like I've been saying, It's the patterns, it's the
Right.
way that we've been taught to, or that we've learned to react in situations instead of being proactive, instead of being clear about what we want. So, basically, my program is for any woman who feels like there are ways that her reactions in love are not serving her,
Mm-hmm.
and are not allowing her to have exactly the kind of love relationship she wants. So, it could be that you're single and you feel like, I don't want to ever be with anybody again, or maybe you're single and you are constantly jumping from one relationship to another relationship. And each time you're like, I don't know why it ended up this way. Or maybe, you're in a relationship and, sometimes I feel like a lot of times too, like, you're in a new relationship and you want to make sure that these old patterns that you have don't sabotage the new relationship. Or maybe you're in a relationship for a long time where it's like these things keep coming up and keep coming up. So, really, I feel like all of us have these patterns in love. And so I feel like really it's the kind of program that could really help anybody who recognizes, hey, I have patterns around love that are not serving. That's pretty much for everyone.
So can you give us an idea then of what this type of work would look like? Like what can your clients expect in a program like this? What type of things are they going to be doing?
Well, we do a lot of, it's a lot of deep inner work. So, it's a lot about looking deeply at where our patterns come from. And like within ourselves and within our, childhoods. And like, a lot of times you can look back and realize, oh, this pattern, I mean, it can sound really simple sometimes when you talk about it, but like looking back at something and saying, and realizing like, oh, this thing that I do, that's exactly the way my mom treated me, or that's exactly the way I saw my mom treat my dad, or exactly the way that like, my first relationship that I was ever in, that was how it played out, and so often these are patterns that are just ingrained in us from such a long period back. So we have to really go back to those time periods and look really deeply at these patterns and at these hurts, so we can clear them away. And so that's done through different kinds of exercises, questions, journaling, peer support, and sometimes we do some meditations, and it's really about like I said, just doing the deep inner work and looking deeply at what are these things, and then how can we change these patterns. First, we have to recognize the patterns, and then we have to create new experiences, and then we have to take the action steps to really do something differently.
Yeah. So then you would serve just like their accountability type person to like guide them through this process and help them implement the changes, or?
Well, I'm not the only accountability person.
Right.
Really, it's mostly, first of all, with this kind of work, you have to be the one who's accountable.
Absolutely.
You have to be the one you're going to be the one getting up in the morning and making the decisions again and again about what you do in your life. But something that specifically that I like doing in my program is every person that signs up gets a support sister, which is
cool.
An accountability buddy. So you're paired with somebody else in the program. You're both going through the same thing. And so you're able to be each other's accountability people, specific. Of course, the whole group is going to be there to support you, but you have one specific person that you can go to. And I think that's important for a couple reasons. For one reason, it's really wonderful to just have that support and have somebody else who's going through the same thing that really understands. But I think there's something also very vital about giving support and, being with somebody where there's like this equal flow of that, because so often, specifically as strong women, we are taught to like just take care of other people and not get anything in return, and put our needs second. And so when you're in this very like equalized kind of like interchange with somebody where you're giving the support and you're receiving the support, I feel like it really creates something where it makes you just feel not only great about your own accountability, but like great that you're helping somebody else, but in a way that is also serving you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds awesome. So, if I were a potential client, then how would I know if I needed to do your group program or if I would need the one-on-one support and want to work with you one-on-one? Like, what's the difference between those two?
Well, like I said, in the group program, you get the support of the entire group.
Obviously the group part. Yeah.
Yes. So there's that. And, I think maybe some of the other differences is that, like you said, like with the one-on-one, like, we would probably be working more on specifically what exactly your patterns are and what exactly are the things that you're specifically dealing with. In the group program, we'll be following more of a, each week we have worksheets and we have specific things that we're working on. Now, I think that that's like part of the journey, like it's set up so that way you're going on a journey. So whether we work one-on-one or whether we work in the program, we'll still be going on a journey together. We'll still be starting from, I always want to set up a love roadmap. So we'll always be starting at a certain place and working through the process in relatively the same way. But yeah, I mean, obviously with one-on-one support, you get more one-on-one support for your own specific thing. I mean, I think they're both great and they're both a lot of fun. So
yeah. I feel like I have a one-on-one program and a group program, and it's kind of the same way. It's like the same structure, the same goals, obviously more one-on-one attention. I feel like just from what I'm hearing, it almost sounds like if you're just starting out and like really just digging into this whole journey for yourself, that at least for my clients, I found that structure that's in like the group program is a really good place to start if you're not used to doing that deep inner work yet. I feel like one-on-one can be like a little overwhelming sometimes if you're just starting out. That's at least with my clients. Obviously, you're in a whole different world than I am, but
yeah. I definitely agree. I mean, I also think because I'm doing such deep inner work with people, it can be really good for people to see like, oh, well, other people have these issues. And, sometimes I might say something to somebody and they may be like, whoa, like, what does that mean? Or like, feel kind of defensive because it's like it's just a deep thing. And, when you're in a group, then you can see like, oh, okay, that wasn't meant towards me specifically. And I'm reacting this way. Maybe it's because this is something in me that like, maybe that's a trigger for me, So yeah, I think that's another reason why, like what you just said, that maybe for people who are new, it's nice to be in the group program.
Yeah. Well, that sounds super exciting. So you said all the details for the program are on your website, which we put the link to your website in. Yeah, it's in the description of this video. And was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? I feel like we covered like a ton in the time we have been on, like all of this really deep inner work that we've been talking about. It's super important. Do you feel like there's anything that people just absolutely need to know about this that we haven't talked about yet?
I feel like I want people to know that it's a very, very supportive program because it can be a lot to just be like, oh yeah, hey, like, let's go like unearth all of this crap that I've had holding me back for the last 20 years or so. Yeah. And, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. And let me just meet with this group of strangers and just like come and like tell you all my shit. And so I just want people to know that like, for me personally, like, I just like I'm somebody who has dealt with a lot of pain and struggle. And, I have been very blessed to come out of the other side and just always have a really strong support system. And I feel like that's what's helped me throughout my life to be able to just thrive, is having a support system, and so like for people who are like, kind of like, oh, I'm not sure if I want that or need that. Like, I just really want to urge you to like realize that having support is so important. And it's enabled me to also have like a wonderful, amazing husband partner who just, I mean, he's just a wonderful, amazing partner. Without him, I would not be able to do the things that I need to do. And I feel like I say that because I want other people to be inspired by that and say, oh my gosh, because there's so many women that I know who say, well, do good men exist? Can I really find this person? Or, and they've had so many bad experiences that they just don't believe that there's good men out there. And, I was just somebody was just posting on Facebook this whole thing about, oh, there's no good men and all this other stuff. And I was just at dinner with my husband of 13 years, who's amazing, our really good friend, who's a guy who's single. And we were talking about the fact that we know all of these really amazing, wonderful men who are single and who want to give women what they want. But a lot of times they don't know what the women want. And so, women, I want to help empower women to know what they want and then be able to speak about what they want and feel good enough within themselves to know that they deserve to have all of that. And they can have that if they have the right support to help them get to that place. And then if they take clear action steps to get there, they can get there. So, and that's actually that's the crux of my program. It's all about that. It's about gaining clarity. It's about setting up boundaries based on your clear vision. It's about being able to communicate your wants and needs clearly. It's about having your self-worth, like a really deep sense of your self-worth. It's about having support. And then it's about having action steps to just go forward and do what you need to do. So I just want to encourage every person, whether you work with me or whether you take my program or whether you're just working in yourself on your own life, I just really want to urge people to take those steps. There's six. I did a live on it not too long ago, so you could find it somewhere on the site. But yeah, I just want to encourage people to do that because I want to see everybody having the kind of love that they want. I think if everybody had the kind of loving, supportive relationship that they wanted, that we would all just be we'd be much happier people.
Yes. Oh, I so agree. I love it. And that, obviously that's a super powerful message, like we were talking about at the beginning, but I love that you added that in, because it's one thing to talk about, what we're doing, but the why we're doing it is so important. And I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your message, and thank you for doing what you do in the first place, because you're so right. It's so needed, and I see it all the time too. And I have a ton of single guy friends who are amazing, and I see the same stuff all the time online too. And it's
well, that's my next project after I do this with women a couple times. I've already actually started a Love Cleansing for Men Facebook group.
Oh, wow.
Because I have a lot of men who, have said to me, hey, well, what about us?
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's so important for men to have this kind of forum to be able to heal and talk as well, because it's if I'm teaching all of these women, okay, go out and ask for a man for what you want, but then I'm not helping the men realize what their patterns are that might be stuck really hearing the women, it's but if I work with both of them, then I can help, not that everybody is a man and a woman wanting to be together, but I think that there's still a lot of room for healing there. So I'm really excited about that aspect too, which is, a little bit in the future, but eventually everyone,
that's really cool.
Like I said,
that's really cool.
will know the joy of cleansing and purging their love and be clear and happy and in a supportive, loving relationship.
Awesome. That's awesome. Charla was here and said hi. Hello, Charla and Trisha. So thank you so much for coming on Spyce and sharing this super powerful message. If anyone has any questions, just make sure and tag Spyce so she sees it. But post your questions, and like I said, the link to her website is in the description of the video. So this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
And I also wanted to just say to any of the people that are in your community, I would love to gift all of the, I mean, specifically at this point, women, anyone who wants to have a free love cleansing clarity call with me, where we could talk about what you're going through and where you are in your life and see if there's any way that I can help you with what you're dealing with in your love life. I'm very happy to offer that to anyone in your community.
I love that. That's so generous. Thank you. So maybe what we can do when we hop off then, if you want to like put the link to book a call in the comments and we can like pin it at the top so everybody can find it super easy. That's so generous. Thank you, Spyce. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me so much. It's great to be on your show, on your night.
Well, thank you. Thank you for everybody that showed up live. Let us know if you have any questions, or just give us some love and some comments and hearts on the replays too. So that's always good. And I will talk to you guys soon. You guys have a great evening, and bye, Spyce. Thanks again.
Bye.